What are three questions, that your broker, real estate broker, should help you answer about access when you're looking to buy a piece of property, either for investment or for business purposes? There's lots of questions related to access that it's good to answer in that situation, but I'm just going to give you three. Okay, these are maybe the first three questions you should ask. We'll have some other conversations about some additional questions, but let's start with maybe the three first questions, maybe the three most important questions that your broker should ask about access. And when I say broker in this video, real estate broker, that includes real estate agents. Okay, so it could be either or. So I will tell you before we get into these three questions briefly that most of the expert witness work that we do here at Redefined Horizons, in other words, when I've been hired as an expert by an attorney, most of that, by far the majority, maybe more than the majority, maybe 70% of that expert witness work is related to problems with easements. Okay, and then I would say the majority of that expert witness work that we do related to easements, the majority of that work is related to access in particular. So I can safely say most of the lawsuits I'm involved in that deal with real estate have to do with access to the parcel. Okay, there are exceptions to that. There is a small percentage that are related to other issues, but most of what we deal with is access. So this is important. This is a really important aspect of real estate that you should understand and be familiar with if you're buying or selling real estate. And it's something that your broker should be familiar with and something that your broker should be helping you with. So I want to just give you a quick example of what I'm talking about, the kind of issue I'm talking about. I worked with an attorney about a year ago on a project in the East Bay. This was an agricultural parcel, large agricultural parcel that had been purchased. And there was a kind of a ridge that cut across the parcel, separated kind of the north third of the parcel from the bottom 2/3. And you couldn't get a vehicle across this ridge. So it wasn't easily traversable by vehicle. And so there was a farm road that went along one side of the parcel that allowed you to get off the public road and access the north 1/3, roughly 1/3 of this parcel. And when the buyer, the client that the attorney was representing, had bought the parcel, the real estate broker told him this access road, this farm road, this is how you get to the back of the property. You have a right to use this road. Well, after the guy buys the property, he gets in a fight with the new neighbor, of course, and the neighbor blocks off access to the farm road. Now this guy can't get to the north 1/3 of his property. And so he tells the neighbor, he says, hey, I've got a right to use this road. I have an easement. And the neighbor says, yep, you sure do have an easement, but it's not over the road. It's actually on your side of the fence where there is no road. And so the attorney hired me. He said, hey, can you take a look at this? Can you look at the deed? Can you look at the easement? Can you take a look at some satellite photography? Let me know if what the neighbor's saying is true. And so we got in and looked at it, and I called the attorney back. I said, I got bad news. I said, the neighbor's right. The access easement is on your side of the fence. There's no road there. You know, if you don't want to argue some kind of prescriptive right, then yep, technically your client's got to put in a new road to get to the north 1/3 of his parcel. So that's the kind of disputes that come up. So how do you stay out of that situation? You know, what are the three questions that your broker, real estate broker, should be helping you answer about access? These are the first three, or maybe the most important three questions that they should help you answer. Here's the first one. Number one, is there access? That's the first question, right? So, you know, what you want to find out is, you know, does the parcel touch a public road? And then that's not enough. If the parcel touches the public road, do you have a legal means of access onto and off of the public road? So just because you're on a public road doesn't mean you get to put in a driveway, right? There can be restrictions that the public agencies put on where you can put a driveway. You can have restricted access highways and freeways. So, you know, first question is, does it touch a public road? Second, if it does touch a public road, can you get access to the public road? You know, and then the other question is, if it doesn't touch a public road directly, you know, how are you getting from the public road to the parcel? Is there a driveway? Is there a private road? Is there, you know, are you supposed to take a rowboat? Whatever, you got to ask that question. So that's the first question. How do you get access to the parcel, right? Second question, does the primary physical access to the parcel, the main method of accessing the parcel, the driveway or the access road or the river, whatever it is, does that match the legal access? Okay, and I have another video that talks about this. I don't want to get into the details, but physical access and legal access are not the same thing, and those two don't always overlap like they should. So a common example I'll get, especially in mountainous terrain, is someone will go in and they'll dedicate an easement, either by deed or on a subdivision map, but then the actual physical road kind of gets built in the practical location, and then those two things don't line up. And that causes problems. So that's the second question. Does the primary physical access to the property match the primary legal access? Okay, the third question the broker should help you answer about access is, does the parcel need a secondary access for some reason? And if it does it have it? Is that secondary access available? And again, does the physical access match the legal access? Okay, so why might you need a secondary access? Well, there's some different reasons why. Okay, so you might need that for emergencies, right? So it could be fire evacuation. So a lot of places we work here in Central California, you have to have a secondary a route of access for fires, for fire evacuation and emergency vehicles. You want to know, is part of the parcel landlocked? Okay, so you may have a primary access to part of the parcel, but then there may be another portion of the parcel that for some practical reason is landlocked, can't use the primary access. So in that case, you need a secondary access, potentially, if you want to make use of that other portion of the property. And then finally, sometimes you need a secondary access just because of the intended use of the parcel. So, for commercial real estate, maybe it's you're going to have a lot of traffic. You want a right turn in, right turn out, or you want a separate entrance for regular automobiles, trucks and cars, and then you want another entrance for semi trucks and RVs or whatever it is. So just depending on how you're going to use the parcel, you may want a secondary access. So the broker should be helping you to answer those questions. Okay, so there are other things you want to ask about access when you're doing your due diligence in a commercial real estate transaction. I'm going to cover some of those in a separate conversation. Okay, but just to review in this video, the 3 things about access to a parcel that your real estate broker should be helping you answer. 3 questions. Is there access? Number 1. 2, does the primary physical access match the primary legal access? 3, does the parcel need a secondary access? And if it does, does that access exist and does it match the legal access, right? So get your broker's help to answer that questions. Look, brokers can't be experts at everything, but if your broker can't answer these questions for you, they should be able to recommend a land surveyor or private land planner that can answer the questions for you, and they need to do that.